All right, so get this. For the first time in almost half a century, you've got two sworn enemies sitting down at the same table. We're going to break down these historic talks in Islamabad and figure out why this one single meeting could literally change everything.
I mean, think about that. 47 years of just pure hostility. Broken promises, bloodshed, the works. And now, just 2 days of direct talks. The weight of nearly 5 decades of conflict. It all hangs on this one incredibly fragile meeting. The stakes? They're no joke. They literally could not be higher.
All right, so let's get into it. What does this historic moment actually look like on the ground? You've got these longtime enemies at the same table for the very first time, and you can bet the entire world is holding its breath.
So here's the big headline. For the first time in 47 years, high-level folks from the United States and Iran are actually holding direct negotiations, face-to-face. And you got to understand, even before the real talks started, both sides had to have separate meetings with their host. It just shows you what a delicate, kind of diplomatic dance this whole thing is.
And the country that somehow managed to bring these two bitter rivals together? Well, that's Pakistan. They've stepped up to be the peacemaker here, taking on the huge job of trying to broker a peace that, let's be honest, has looked pretty much impossible for decades.
And what's really interesting is what's happening inside Pakistan. You're seeing this amazing, unified front. I mean, from the prime minister all the way to opposition leaders, everyone is singing the same tune. Bilal Bhutto Zardari called the talks extremely important. You've got others hoping this will be a milestone for permanent peace. It's this rare moment of national pride, and it's all laser-focused on this one diplomatic goal.
And this feeling, it goes way beyond just politics. An Iranian singer actually released a tribute song to Pakistan, just to say thank you. The lyrics, they talk about a gentle voice putting balm on the wounds, saying Pakistan reached out like a brother. It really captures just how deep this goes, framing them not just as some neutral mediator, but as family, offering a healing hand. Okay, so there's all this hope in the air, right? But underneath all those positive headlines, you've got the real challenge. This incredibly deep 47-year-old mistrust. The biggest hurdle here isn't what's being said at the table today. No, it's everything that's happened for the last half-century. And this quote from Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, wow, it really says it all. He says, "We are participating in negotiations in an environment of distrust." Why? Because of, in his words, America's broken promises and diplomatic deception. And look, this isn't just some tough talk for the cameras. This is the real deal. It's a feeling born from decades of what they see as betrayal, and it absolutely colors every single word being spoken in that room.
Okay, I want you to just hear this number. 168. Just let that sink in for a second. Because it's not just a statistic. It's a symbol. It's a symbol of the profound trauma that the Iranian delegation literally carried with them into these talks.
So what is 168? It's the number of schoolgirls martyred in the attack on the Minhab school. And the Iranian delegation, they physically brought the photos of these girls, their burnt backpacks, even their shoes, onto the plane with them. They placed them on empty seats. They even named the flight Minhab 168. I mean, they are making it crystal clear that the ghosts of the past are not just a memory. They are right there in the room with them.
And honestly, this gets to the absolute core of why Iran is so distrustful. I mean, check this out. On one hand, you've got President Trump saying he's hopeful for the success of the Islamabad negotiations. Okay, great. But then, almost in the same breath, he's threatening to completely destroy the entire Iranian army. Can you imagine? That kind of diplomatic whiplash makes it almost impossible for Iran to figure out what America's real intentions are. Who do you believe?
So, you might be thinking, this is just about the US and Iran, right? Wrong. This meeting is not happening in a vacuum. The whole world is watching this, and for good reason, because whatever happens here is going to send ripples all across the globe.
And Bilal Bhutto Zardari really hit the nail on the head. He said the whole world is looking towards the Islamabad negotiations, because this war is already torn up the entire Middle East. So these talks, they're not just about trying to stop the next war. They're about trying to find a way to start healing a region that's already covered in scars. A path to peace isn't just a nice idea anymore, it's an absolute necessity.
And of course, all the other global players are weighing in. You've got Russia urging everybody to be responsible, basically saying don't blow this chance. Indonesia is welcoming the talks and calling for everyone to just take a deep breath. And then look at the UK. They're hosting their own separate talks about a ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. It just goes to show you how all of these regional tensions are tangled up together.
So after all that, after all this context, we're left with the big question, aren't we?
Where is this all headed? Is this finally the beginning of the end of this conflict? Or is it just going to be another sad chapter in a very, very long book of failures?
And really, that's the question at the absolute heart of it all. Can 2 days, just 48 hours of talking, can that really be enough to start healing the wounds from 47 years of deception and bloodshed? There's a lot of hope, for sure. But man, that history is heavy.
Because at the end of the day, you just can't build a lasting peace by pretending the past didn't happen. The Iranian delegation made that perfectly clear with those 168 empty seats. For peace to have any kind of real future, the ghosts of the past have to be more than just memories. They have to be acknowledged. They have to be given their own seat at the table.